It's July the 29th, 2022, and our reading today from the book of Psalms is Psalm 7. The title is quite important to this one. It says, a psalm of David, which he sang to the Lord concerning Cush, a Benjamite. O Lord my God, I take refuge in you. Save and deliver me from all who pursue me, or they will tear me like a lion and rip me to pieces with no one to rescue me. O Lord my God, if I've done this and there is guilt on my hands, if I've done evil to him who is at peace with me, or without cause have robbed my foe, then let my enemy pursue and overtake me. Let him trample my life to the ground and make me sleep in the dust. Arise, O Lord, in your anger. Rise up against the rage of my enemies. Awake, my God, decree justice. Let the assembled peoples gather around you. Rule over them from on high. Let the Lord judge the peoples. Judge me, O Lord, according to my righteousness, according to my integrity, O Most High. O righteous God, who searches minds and hearts, bring to an end the violence of the wicked and make the righteous secure. My shield is God Most High, who saves the upright in heart. God is a righteous judge, a God who expresses his wrath every day. If he does not relent, he will sharpen his sword, he will bend and string his bow. He has prepared his deadly weapons, he makes ready his flaming arrows. He who is pregnant with evil and conceives trouble gives birth to disillusionment. He who digs a hole and scoops it out falls into the pit he has made. The trouble he causes recoils on himself. His violence comes down on his own head. I will give thanks to the Lord because of his righteousness, and will sing praise to the name of the Lord Most High. Amen. Well, again, we come face to face with enemies who are also called the wicked. Maybe that's the point in the little title at the beginning, or even before the beginning of the psalm, really, to this man, this man who's referred to as Cush, a Benjamite. Now, we know nothing else about this man. It seems I can't think of anything else in the Bible that we're told about him. Was it him that David goes on to talk about, who's attacking him, who's persecuting him? Possibly. I think we have to assume that. And what is the answer to a man like this, an evil, wicked man? Sometimes we have enemies like this, don't we? What's the answer? In this psalm, it is to meditate on, to reflect on, and to turn into prayer the truth of the righteousness of God. That's what we have in verses 1 to 5. David cries out for deliverance. Verse 1, O Lord my God, I take refuge in you. Save and deliver me from all who pursue me. Is that including Cush? Is he maybe the ringleader of a group of people who were attacking David? He certainly knew this throughout his life, didn't he? Although David does go on to say, very humbly, this is the greatest quality of David, I think, that he's a man after God's own heart, and he's a humble man. He's willing to acknowledge when he gets things wrong. And he does humbly say in the opening verses, well, look, if I'm guilty, if I've actually done what Cush is accusing me of, then Lord, you must punish me. I'm guilty and I deserve to be punished. But the point is, he isn't guilty. And it's not him, David, who deserves to be punished, but these wicked enemies who are mocking him, accusing him, spreading lies about him. And so, verses 6 to 9, he cries out again for God to intervene, to deliver. Arise, O Lord, in your anger. Rise up against the rage of my enemies. Awake, my God, decree justice. And the argument he brings might surprise us, because David says that he, David, is righteous. Verse 8, let the Lord judge the peoples. Judge me, O Lord, according to my righteousness, according to my integrity, O Most High. Now, in other places, in other verses, we saw it, I think, hinted at in Psalm 6. The most powerful example of this we've looked at recently is Psalm 51, where David completely owns up to his adultery and murder and other sins. But at the same time, certainly on this occasion, the accusations against him are false. So David can say, it seems, I mean, we might be surprised at this, but I think this is what he's saying in verse 8. He can say, look, my accusers have come, they're attacking me, they're saying these terrible things about me, but with a clear conscience, I can honestly say, I'm right before God. I'm righteous. I'm a man of integrity. And I think that's fine. I think David can say that. I think we should be able to say that, shouldn't we? If we're walking with God, confessing our sin, it's not saying, look how wonderful I am, how righteous I am. Everything that David has been given to him by God. But I think what he's saying is, I've been a steward of what you've given me, Lord, and I've lived the life that you've expected of me, and I certainly haven't done what these wicked people are saying about me. Therefore, if that is true, if righteousness sums up David's life, verse 8, therefore, verse 9, O righteous God, bring to an end the violence of the wicked. And what does he call God's people in this verse? He calls them the righteous. Step in, O Lord. Deliver your people, O Lord, your righteous ones. And in verses 11 to 16, we have God, the righteous judge, doing exactly that. He's stepping in to bring his justice upon these wicked people, these evil enemies of God's people. They're also God's enemies. So, of course, he's going to judge them. And it's a terrifying passage. Just meditate on that sometime. Each detail, each line. This is the righteous judge judging those who have rejected him. And this is part of the hope of the righteous people of God. Ultimately, when it comes to heaven and hell, the final judgment, even in this life, we sometimes see this. Verses 15 and 16 are particularly interesting, because there we have what I call the boomerang principle. You throw a boomerang, it goes around the room, it comes right back, and it hits you on the back of your head. People who have plotted evil, they've sown the seeds of evil. Verse 16, the trouble he causes recoils on himself. His violence comes down on his own head. How often have we seen that in human history? Maybe you've even seen it in your own experience. God, the righteous judge, delivering his people, judging the wicked because he's righteous. And verse 17 ends with a great note of thanksgiving and of praise. Why? I will give thanks to the Lord because of his righteousness. This is the heart, the very heart of God himself. This is the essence of the gospel. Romans 1, verses 16 and 17. I'm not ashamed of the gospel because it's the power of God for the salvation of everyone who believes, first for the Jew, then for the Gentile. For in the gospel, a righteousness from God is revealed, a righteousness that is by faith from first to last, just as it is written, the righteous will live by faith.